Evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight we're going to continue our Black History series by introducing another black inventor by the name of Lewis Howard Latimer. Inventor and engineer, he was born in Chelsea, Massachusetts, September 4th, 1848. Latimer was the youngest of four children born to George and Rebecca Latimer, who escaped from slavery in Virginia 6 years before his birth. Captured in Boston and brought to trial as a fugitive, George Latimer was defended by abolitionists Frederick Douglass and William Lloyd Garrison. He was eventually able to purchase his freedom with the help of a local minister and began raising a family with Rebecca in nearby Chelsea. George disappeared shortly after the Dred Scott decision of 1857, possibly fearing a return to slavery in the South. Now, after his father's departure, Lewis Latimer worked to support his mother and family. In 1864, at the age of 16, Latimer lied about his age in order to enlist in the United States Navy during the Civil War. Returning to Boston after an honorable discharge, he accepted a menial position at the Crosby and Gould Patent Law Office. He taught himself mechanical engineering and drafting by observing the work of draftsmen at the firm. Recognizing Latimer's talents and promise, the firm's partners promoted him from office boy to draftsman. In addition to assisting others, Latimer designed a number of his own inventions, including an improved railroad car, bathroom, and an early air conditioning unit. Latimer's talents were matched to the post-Civil War period, which saw a large number of scientific and engineering breakthroughs. Latimer was directly involved with one of these inventions, the telephone. Working with Alexander Graham Bell, Latimer helped draft the patent for Bell's design of the telephone. He was also involved in the field of incandescent lighting, a particularly competitive field, working with Hiram Maxim and Thomas Edison. Latimer's deep knowledge of both patents and electrical engineering made Latimer an indispensable partner to Edison as he promoted and defended his light bulb design. In 1890, Latimer published a book entitled Incandescent Electrical Lighting, a practical description of the Edison system. He continued to work as a patent consultant until 1922. Latimer married Mary Wilson in 1873. They had two daughters. The Latimers were active members in the Unitarian Church, and Lewis Latimer was consistently involved in the Civil War veterans groups, including the Grand Army of the Republic. In addition to his drafting skills, Latimer enjoyed other creative pastimes, including playing the flute, writing poetry, and plays. Now, in his spare time, he taught mechanical engineering and English to English immigrants at the Henry Street Settlement in New York. Lewis Latimer died December 11th, 1928, in Flushing, Queens, New York. His wife, Mary, predeceased him by 4 years. Now, let me take a moment to thank Mr. Latimer. Now, mechanical engineering and electrical engineering are very tough fields. Now, this shows you the type of mindset that Mr. Latimer had. And we as African Americans forget those who came before us. We don't even know what their achievements were because we're too stuck in slavery. Now, Mr. Latimer helped with patents of the telephone and the light bulb. And guess what? Those items we still use today. The only thing that has happened between then and now, since the product has already been patented, it's just improved to operate better and at a faster function. Because as you know, everything today is transit, it's fast. However, we wouldn't have different types of light bulbs like the fluorescent light bulb or the energy saving light bulb, cell phones, or any type of telephones if it weren't for Mr. Lewis Latimer. I want everybody to take a moment to pick up information on Mr. Latimer. if you're really interested in his biography and history, because this is a brilliant man. And the reason why I want to point this out is, let's go back to engineering. Engineering curriculums are very tough. Now, he learned mechanical and electrical engineering. He didn't have a PhD. In fact, he didn't even have a bachelor's degree. Now, it's funny how you have curriculums in engineering that require you to take a fundamentals of engineering exam, then a PE exam in order for plans to be signed and stamped. Now, he also understood patent because he worked at the patent office, the patent law office, as a menial worker. Now, what makes him different than what you have today in the African American community? Well, in order to get to where he had gotten as far as promotions, he had to do twice as much work. In other words, he had to be smarter than his white counterparts. He was. And what makes him different as well, particularly from some of your slaves, because we talk about Nat Turner, which we're going to do a video on him a little later on in this Black History series too, because he was significant as well. He was born to free parents. Unlike Benjamin Banner, where both of his parents were free, George Latimer was a fugitive. So he basically had to escape to come back. But then with the Dred Scott decision, he had to disappear again. So basically, Mr. Latimer had to help his mom with taking care of the household, and he had to lie about his age so he could serve in the military. And once he got out of the military, again, this is where he put on his education and learned the drafting and mechanical engineering skills. He already had some information on electrical engineering with the light bulb. Now, he worked with two prominent figures that we all know about. And it's funny, you know about Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison, but you don't know about Latimer. Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell get the credit for discovering the telephone and the light bulb. But guess what? They didn't draw up the telephone or the light bulb. Lewis Latimer did. And that's why we have to give this gentleman some credit. Without his mindset, we would be sitting in the dark, or we would have candles. And the problem with candles, candles are made of wax and wick. Eventually, they are going to burn out, and the wax is going to melt. And the problem with candles, you light candles and you don't blow them out, they could eventually catch a fire. Not that light bulbs can't catch a fire, but the incandescent light bulb, which we're talking about your 30, your 60, your 100-watt light bulbs, you know they burn for a long time. In fact, the reason why light bulbs burn out is because we keep turning on and off the switch. And every time you turn on and off the switch, you activate and you deactivate the current that goes to lighting the filament. See, it's not the filament that actually burns out by itself. No, and that's what we're all made to think. You know, if you put a light bulb and just leave it, just don't turn it off, with the exception of a storm, that light bulb can stay lit for a long time. Now you have variations of the incandescent light bulb today. You have energy-saving light bulbs. They look like the curly Qs. You also have the fluorescent light bulbs. And if you look outside, your gold-looking light bulbs, they're made with sodium. Those light bulbs would not be here if it weren't for the invention and the patent by Lewis Latimer. So, if you're in school and your instructor asks you who invented the light bulb, you let them know that it was Lewis Howard Latimer, born September 4th in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and he was born 1848. That's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Thursday, February 9th, 2017. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I do not engage in controversy, debates, emotion, or social issues. However, there have been a few videos that may have appeared to utilize social issues, but they were for educational purposes only if you open up your mind. Also, I do not participate in drama or unnecessary bickering. This channel is for business, education, careers, and political news. Because what I'm doing with this channel is giving you the information so you can survive in today's real world. So I keep everything realistic and positive because knowledge is power. And if you have a business or a topic that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave it in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. That's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.